Cool. Save it out. Let me check it.
Are we good to go? Yeah, we good to go, right?
Okay, yeah, you got it, bro.
Okay. All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
First off, I want to start off, as always, by giving our praise and glory unto Yahweh.
Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Chakdash.
The one is unto the apostles, the elders, and the bishops of Great Millstone. I also want to send much love to the brothers out there doing this work in truth and sincerity. And I also want to send peace and blessings unto the believers of the hopeful elect. And once again, we're back to the spirit of Yahweh Shai on this Thursday night to bring you news and prophecy and to preach the continual downfall of this world. As you brothers see, all around you, man, it's chaos everywhere. It's judgment everywhere. Violence is starting to increase. And things are happening, man, and it's beautiful, okay? These are the signs of the time and the signs that the Lord is at the doors, man. These are the days that our forefathers been are preaching about, man. All right? These are the days. And we here, man. As Yahweh said, blessed are your eyes for they see and your ears for they hear. Okay? Everybody don't understand the times, man. But you know what? Let me get real quick. If we don't have anything, I'm gonna grab Matthew 24 real quick here. Matthew 24, real quick. Matthew 24 and 32. It says, now learn a parable of the fig tree. When its branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh. So likewise ye, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors. So we're here, man. It's very close, okay? If you understand the prophecies, if you can filter out these events in the world through the scriptures, you know that Yahweh is at the doors, man. And the closer we get until his return, the worse things are going to get for the world, man. Okay? And this is why we go into these different, articles and videos to show you that, hey, man, it's time. Okay, the Lord is working and heavy judgment is about to go out in the planet Earth. Okay? And the Most High is going to use Esau, Edom to do it. So, brother, you got anything, God? Your thing, mute, brother.
I was just saying we here. It ain't too much more that, there's a lot that can't be spoken on, but everything is ready. We just watching and waiting for it to play out. And making sure, hey, we on point once it do happen, because it ain't going to be no alert to tell you when destruction going to happen, when all hell go break loose. This is the alert right here, man.
Right. And just like that October 4th alert supposed to go out, hey, man, ain't going to be no alert like that going out telling you, hey, look, all hell finna break loose. No. You have to pay attention to what's going on right now, right? To be able to see it when it happens, man. As the Lord said, these things coming as a thief in the night. Look, bro, it's not going to catch the believers as a thief in the night. Okay, only the unbeliever will be caught as a thief in the night. Okay, when this thing go down, man. All right? Go ahead, brother.
Nah, I ain't got nothing. You got it. I had your stuff first.
All right, bet.
I'll show you yours, bro.
Okay, coming to water. All right, man. So first thing we're gonna get into, all right, as you see there in the title, it says banks going digital. Okay. And Salakia, brother. Salakia.
Come.
Go ahead, Go ahead, I speak, brother. Go ahead.
All right, come. Yeah, so as the brother was saying, and he'll touch on the banks going digital portion of it. But again, it's a lot happening right now. And as you see from the title, it says banks going digital and Jacob's trouble is close. Warning. Because again, a lot of information have since, man, the apostles came on the scene, the bishops, the elders, brothers, shit, since we've been doing this Thursday live, a lot of information have been coming out. I want to say weekly, but daily, man. And that's why it's important for us to constantly warn on these things, constantly talk about some of the same events, so on and so forth, right? Just like a couple of weeks ago, it felt like me and his brother was talking about the Fed Now system almost every Thursday. And then for the next, for the last couple of weeks, it seemed like as if we haven't been talking about it. Well, for an example on how we got to pay attention to every step is that it ain't that it wasn't nothing to update about on the Fed Now system. It just had to be put in place first. These banks had to adopt it. And now, lo and behold, some months later, as the brother go touch on, these banks are using that system. So now when you deposit cash, it's going straight to digital tokens. So it may seem as, we were just, wasting our breath talking about Fed Now, and as it was nothing that, was going to happen down the line. But now we see the importance of following each step. Because as we've been following these steps, now we see what's the effects of these things, man. What's the effects of laws that was put into place a couple of months ago, things that had to be passed. So now in this time, we seen a lot of things pass, and now it's playing out, man. So again, it ain't a lot that really got to be said anymore. We just waiting on these things to begin. You see, but you got it out.
Right, come, yeah, us lucky for that. But yeah, man. So we're going to the first thing here. This video, okay, from Lena Petrova. All right, she be going in, man. I highly suggest that you subscribe to her page. But as you can see, it says in the title, "Big Banks Going Digital. JP Morgan will launch digital tokens, convert deposits into digital assets, okay, which will be central bank digital currencies." All right, and we've been talking about that for the past year and a half, man. Constantly telling you, constantly going to videos and reports about this stuff. And now it's here, man. These major banks, these big banks are going digital. And it's all according to the plans of Yahweh Bash and Hawashai. But you also hear these elites talking about that, which I'll get that information, Lord willing. So here we go. And I have the video sped up a little bit, just for time's sake. So here we go.
Last week, I shared a video about Citibank announcing that it is now able to convert customers' deposits into digital blockchain-based tokens. Citi says that this isn't a service that you have to sign up for, even if you want to use it. There's nothing you need to do because it's already built into the payment settlement system. For now, Citi rolled out the pilot for its commercial customers only, but it may be safe to assume that since the system and the infrastructure are already in place, digital deposit tokens may soon be launched for non-business consumers. Are there any other U.S. banks that are working on digital assets that would convert your cash deposit into digital money? The answer is
right. That would convert your cash deposits into digital money. And once again, they're going to use blockchain, brothers and sisters, to do this, all right, to be able to track everything that you do so that they can be able to say, hey, you can't buy this or you can't buy that, or look, you bought too much of this or too much of that. This is where we're headed, man. Okay. Now, real quick, switching over to this video here. Okay, me and a brother went into this video last year. All right. I'm not sure if your brother and sisters remember, but this is a video from the World Government Summit. Okay. And I'm going to play this video here. It says World Government Summit 2022. Dr. Pippa Malmgren talks about blockchain and digital currency. All right, so here we go. Watch this here.
Well, it may be a bit.
Look, listen very closely to what she's going to say, man. This was said a year ago, okay? Listen very closely. Here we go.
Late for that. I remember talking to an Australian diplomat at one point about this break between the US and China and said, both sides are going to say, whose team are you on? And he said, our job is to make sure the question never arises. But the question has arisen. And so I think we have to go deeper. And it's not about the US versus China. It's about what underpins a world order is always the financial system. I was very privileged. My father was an advisor to Nixon when they came off the gold standard in '71. And so I was brought up with a kind of inside view of how very important the financial structure is to absolutely everything else. And what we're seeing in the world today, I think, is we are on the brink of a dramatic change where we are about to, and I'll say this boldly, we're about to abandon the traditional system of money and accounting and introduce a new one.
Did you hear that, IUIC? Did you hear that, WFI, okay? Weak, fragile Israelites. Did you hear that? Sons of Thunder. All that shit you guys be talking, man. What are you going to do when the financial system goes digital? How will you explain this to your followers, right? To your congregation? Because we're heading into a time very soon to where you're going to be able to use the original paperback dollar. Everything is going to go digital, okay? They're openly telling you this at the World Government Summit. You think she's just talking or playing around? She said, I can boldly say this. Why? Because she knows the plans. She knows the future, man. She's been in those councils behind the scene, okay? This is why she can say this, because in the councils, they talked about this stuff. So they come out and tell us bits and pieces of things, okay? And really the Lord make them tell us so that we can know the prophecies, man, and what time we are in. But I want to hear her say it again, okay? Just in case you missed it. Here we go.
Side view of how very important the financial structure is to absolutely everything else. And what we're seeing in the world today, I think, is we are on the brink of a dramatic change where we are about to, and I'll say this boldly, we're about to abandon the traditional system of money and accounting and introduce a new one. And the new one, the new accounting, is what we call blockchain. It means digital. It means having a almost perfect record of every single transaction that happens in the economy, which will give us far greater clarity over what's going on. It also raises huge dangers in terms of the balance of power between states and citizens. In my opinion, we're going to...
Right, you said that they're going to use blockchain, right? Now, real quick, I wanted to go back to my favorite piece of document, right? Here on the UN.org page, as you can see, it says Global Digital Compact. And I want to go here, all right? As you see in the title, what it says, Our Common Agenda, Policy Brief 5, a global digital compact, an open, free, and secure digital future for all. Okay, now she mentioned blockchain, right? If you scroll down to these sustainable development goals, okay, as you see here, it says global digital cooperation and the sustainable development goals. If you go here to goal number 12, okay, I'll blow it up here. Goal number 12, right? It says a responsible consumption and production, okay? It says digital technologies such as 3D printing, the Internet of Things, big data, cloud computing, and blockchain, okay, which goes into what? Central bank digital currencies. She's telling you, right, that digital dollar, it says, can support a circular economy and supply chains of resilience, in particular in manufacturing industries. So them turning the dollar into digital currencies is one of those SDGs, man, okay? And I keep referring back to this document because Esau, he is following this list. Whether you understand it or not, he's following these 17 goals, man, okay? And she's here talking about it. Here we go again.
It means having a almost perfect record and introduce a new one. And the new one, the new accounting, is what we call blockchain. It means digital. It means having a almost perfect record of every single transaction that happens in the economy, which will give us far greater clarity over what's going on. It also raises huge dangers in terms of the balance of power between states and citizens. In my opinion, we're going to need a digital constitution of human rights if we're going to have digital money. But also, this new money will be sovereign in nature. Most people think that digital money is crypto and private, but what I see are superpowers introducing digital currency. The Chinese.
Right. She says she sees superpower introducing digital currencies. And she's going to name a few superpowers, nations in the world, okay, who will introduce these digital currencies to their people, okay? Here we go.
What I see are superpowers introducing digital currency. The Chinese were the first. The US is on the brink, I think, of moving in the same direction. The Europeans have committed to that as well. And the question is, will that new system of digital money and digital accounting accommodate the competing needs of the citizens of all these locations so that every human being has a chance to have a better life? Because that's the only measure of whether a world order really serves.
Okay, so there you have it, man. They're telling you openly, okay? This was back in 2022. And what do you see in 2023? These exact things happening, man. The big banks going digital, you think it's just a coincidence? No. Esau's going through with his plans, man. So I'll let her say a few more words on this, and then I'll grab a precept, all right?
Answer is yes. The biggest bank in the world, New York-based JP Morgan Chase, has everything ready to go. It is the largest bank in the world by asset size. According to Bloomberg, JP Morgan is exploring private blockchain-based deposit tokens for payment settlement. My understanding is that the digital assets will be similar to blockchain-based cryptocurrency. The difference would be in that cryptocurrency, for example, let's take Bitcoin, is decentralized without one specific owner or a group of owners who are able to exercise control over it. Well, this isn't the case with these private blockchains that are being developed by world's leading banks. First, it was Citigroup. Now JP Morgan Chase is letting us know that it's working on launching their version. In the case with large banks, the digital blockchain system is fully 100% controlled by the bank. So effectively, the bank would be able to dictate how, when, and where that cash can be used. These deposit tokens are effectively digital coins. They are fiat. They are not tangible assets. The US dollar is fiat. So effectively, you would deposit.
She mentioned how they will be able to dictate how you use those digital currencies because they are programmable, man. Meaning that they can set that money to where you only can buy what they allow you, okay? That's the total control that's coming, man. Especially when that MOTB comes out here, all right? That's where we're heading, brothers and sisters. And the scripture speaks about this stuff, man. If you have ears to hear and eyes to see, okay? Now, real quick, I wanted to go Revelation chapter 13, all right? This famous scripture here. And I have it pulled up on BibleHub.com, okay? And look, brother, I like using this Bible Hub now, man. All right, it's so clear to me. All right, I still use Blue Letter too, but I just like the Bible Hub better now. With using it so much. But as you can see, I have Revelation 13 and 16 pulled up. You see the different translations here, right? It says the NIV is all. It also forced all people, great and small, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hands or on their foreheads. The NLT, it says he required everyone, small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to be given a mark on the right hand or on the forehead. Okay, so real quick, let's go into the Greek, man. Okay, and I like how the Greek is laid out here. They got it, word for word, like the Blue Letter, okay, but they have the definition beside it, man. And for the word all here, okay, you see the word pontus, okay, and it says all, the whole, every kind of, including all forms of declensions, right? Apparently a primary word, all, any, everywhere, the whole. So he wants to call everybody, okay? to receive this thing, man. But jumping down here, all right, to the word mark, okay? And you know, the apostles and brothers have been going into this for years, man. Okay, but I just like how they got this laid out here. Okay, go to it, Strong's, right? 5480, right? It says charagma, right? Strong concordance, right? Charagma, it says a stamp, impress. Okay, you jump down here. Let's see this out here. Okay, you jump down here. It says word origin from carasso, right? To sharpen, to engrave, a stamp, impress. Right, Thayer's Greek lexicon, it says a stamp and imprinted mark. It says of the mark stamped on the foreheads or the right hand as the badge of the followers of the Antichrist. Okay, which ain't no one Antichrist. This is an Antichrist system. Okay, we want to say that. All right, but it said the mark branded upon horses. It says a thing carved. Okay, this mark is going to be carved in your body, man. Okay, it says sculpture, graven work. Scrolling down here, right, to the Strong's adhesive concordance, it says stamp, mark, it says from the same as karats, a scratch or etching, i.e. stamp as a badge of servitude. Okay, and that's what it's going to be, man. Once you get that MOTB, you're saying, look, I'm willing to serve this devil and his beast system to continue my so-called life I got in this world, to continue to have my apartment, you know, your house or your cars and whatnot. You're pretty much, you know, bound to need to buy all, man. So it says, see Greek karaks. Go into the word karaks here, okay? It says karaks, right? 5482, a pointed stake, a rampart, right? It says from the same as charagma, okay? A pointed stake, rampart. It says a pale, a stake, or palisade, right? A palisade, rampart, okay? And if you Google the word, you know, a palisade, you'll see how they look. But it says, i.e. pales between which earth, stone, trees, and timbers are heaped and patched together. So what the Apostle John saw was, he saw that digital grain of rice being put into people's bodies, man. Carved in their bodies, whether it's in their forehead or in their hands, man. Now, going back here, okay, up to verse 17 now. All right. Let me see here. My bad. You know, going up to verse 17. See here. You go over. Oh yeah, here we go. Verse 17, right? And I'll read the English Standard Version. It says, so that no one can buy or sell unless he has the mark. This is where we're heading, brothers and sisters, okay? A time is coming to where you will not be able to buy and sell unless you have that MOTB, man. I know it might sound strange to some of you people because you don't understand it. But this is where we're heading. Okay, whether you believe it or not or know it or not, you will not be able to buy and sell unless you have that mark. It says that is the name of the beast or the number of its name. And this is what she's going into, man, about the banks controlling your digital currency. All right, let's hear it said again. And I'll play a few more minutes, brother, and you got it out.
JP Morgan Chase is letting us know that it's working on launching their version. In the case with large banks, the digital blockchain system is fully 100% controlled by the bank. So effectively, the bank would be able to dictate how, when, and where that cash can be used. These deposit tokens are effectively digital coins. They are fiat, they're not tangible assets. The US dollar is fiat. So effectively, you would deposit your paycheck, you would earn your paycheck, it would get deposited into your bank account, and then the bank will allow you to convert it in blockchain intangible assets that are digital coins. This is, of course, a very simplified explanation of how it works, but in essence, that is the new system. Some of you asked how this is different from wire transfers, and the difference is truly immense. They are completely different. First of all, wire transfers are settled through a third party called ACH, which stands for Automated Clearinghouse. This is the reason why wire transfers take a bit of time. Digital blockchain-based tokens are only used within the scope of that blockchain that they're built on, and they operate based on predefined settings or features that its developers chose to put in place. Citi, JP Morgan, and any other bank that rolls out similar blockchain-based digital payment systems would only do so when the Federal Reserve, our central bank, already has a similar system in place. So that is something to consider as well. Bloomberg is reporting that JP Morgan Chase is in the early stages of exploring a blockchain-based deposit token for speeding up cross-border payment and settlement. As I pointed out before, it is very common to see phrases or words such as speed up cross-border payments, or another widely used phrase is digital payments will make banking equitable. These are the same terms that we hear in the context of CBDCs and why they may be good for consumers. Here's another thing that I personally find very interesting. JP Morgan is reportedly in the early stages of exploring blockchain-based digital assets, while at the same time, it's being reported that the bank has already developed most of the underlying infrastructure, and all it has to do to launch it is to get the regulator's approval. The banking industry is extremely heavily regulated in the United States. So to that end, Bloomberg says that the digital asset systems infrastructure would connect to the bank's existing compliance systems so that transactions can go through know your customer, anti-fraud, and other necessary checks and be part of the company's regulatory reporting. Before we continue, a quick thank you to the sponsor.
Okay, so there's all that, I go into this video. Brothers and sisters, go watch this whole video on your own. But you don't mind putting inside the chat for them to have. But yeah, man, this thing is coming fast. Okay, before you know it, it's gonna be here, man. And as Dr. Pippa Malgreen said, a new financial system will be introduced that will be digital, man, very soon. Okay, she said, I'm confident. She said, I can boldly say this. And we're seeing the groundwork being laid, man. Okay, and I'll end with this Ezekiel here, brother, and you got it out. This is Ezekiel 33, starting in verse 30 in the NLT Bible. It says, Son of man, your people talk about you in their houses and whisper about you at the doors. They say to each other, come on, let us go hear the prophet tell us what the Lord Yahweh is saying. And this is going into you unbelievers, man. Okay? Those of you who are faking this thing. Y'all come hear the word, but you really know about this word. You come in to gossip, right? To have something to talk about and do your so-called, response videos. And so you see GMS going off on this, you see GMS going off on that. Being demons, man. Verse 31 says, so my people come pretending to be sincere and sit before you, right? You come in, you listen, or you say Shalom, Yahweh, Shema, Shabbat, all that good stuff, right? It says they listen to your words, but they have no intentions of doing what you say. Their mouths are full of lustful words and their hearts seek only after money. It says you are very entertaining to them, like someone who sings love songs with a beautiful voice or plays fine music on an instrument. They hear what you say, but they don't act on it. So Jake is listening to us, giving a warning and everything. But they ain't trying to listen to it, man, because Jake is stuck in their own ways. Even guys so-called in the truth, okay? Verse 33 says, but when all these terrible things happen to them, as they certainly will, then they will know a prophet has been among them. So when these things come to pass, man, right? This MOTB, Jacob's trouble, all these things happen, you're going to know that prophets have been among you and been warning you the whole time, but you thought it was a game. You thought you had the breakdowns. You thought that you got it, right? But the Lord is only dealing with a select few, man. He's not dealing with everybody, bro. Look, do not let these false prophets fool you, man. Anybody talking about the MOTB is sin or 666 white men that lost souls. It's clearly talking about that digital grain of rice, man. But we'll see. Okay, you got it, brother.
All right, Con. So yeah, we'll hop into it. We'll try to be fairly quick with it. Now I just got 2 videos that I'm gonna go ahead and play. I'm gonna play a couple segments of this one right here. The first one from Brighteon.com. And also, our man right here from Full Spectrum Survival. We're gonna go ahead and I might play his whole video. Now, what they both going into is the times we coming in, man. As you see right here, Jacob's trouble is close. Warning. Because the message both of these men gave was along the lines of warning the people. That look, we ain't in the times to play no more. This is real life now, man. When people talk about riots and all hell break loose and the economy gonna crash and it's gonna be wars and famine, so on and so forth. Well, look, that's what they talking about. How Ezra spoke about neighbors breaking into houses and everything. That's what they talking about, man. Which further shows the prophets ain't the only ones proclaiming these things now. You see, Esau seeing it for himself. No longer can this economy go on. Matter of fact, before I get that, I'm gonna get a quick one real quick. 2nd Ezra 15 in the GNT, just real quick. And as you see from the title, it says what? Or the header, the coming disasters. Now I'm gonna just jump down. 2nd Ezra 15 and verse 5 in the GNT. It says, the Lord says, I am going to bring terrible disasters on the whole world. War and famine, death and destruction. And it's the reason, because wickedness have spread everywhere and evil have reached its limit. It's too much. And what happened the last time evil reached its limit? Going back to the time of Noah, the Lord sent a flood and killed everybody save 8 people. What happened in the time of Sodom and Gomorrah? When evilness and wickedness reached its limit, the Lord sent fire down from heaven. And we living in a time that's way worse than both of them time periods, man. Wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole world, as it's said in the KJV version. And because it's reached its limit again, the Lord says, verse 7, and therefore Yahweh says, I will no longer remain silent about the wickedness of these godless people. I will no longer tolerate it, man. And that's why we're about to see judgment be laid out even more so. And we already been seeing these past couple of weeks, really, strange deaths, strange events, as they would say, demons hopping on people to carry out the Lord's plans. Well, look, that's only going to increase from here on out. And it says, I will no longer tolerate it. They have murdered innocent people, and the blood they have spilled cries out to me for revenge, and the souls of the righteous are constantly pleading for vengeance. But so let's hop into it. Now, this first video right here, this from, as you see from the title, and again, it's from Brighteon News. Now, the Apostle Ramlab, if you've been watching his videos as of late, he's been mentioning a guy named Mike Adams. Which if you go on Natural News, you'll be familiar with who Mike Adams is, which you see him right here. We'll play it. But so the Apostle Ramla mentioned this video today. I think it was today or yesterday in one of his lessons. I think it was today. It was titled America is Already Babylon the Great, I believe. But nevertheless, he was talking about this video, and I'm going to go ahead and play it. Then we're going to jump around. But it says, former Homeland Security tactical team leader. So this just ain't any guy. This is a guy who knows what's going on, who been in the inner circle of these secrets that these elites been trying to keep, the government been trying to keep. Right, and he gonna give his perspective. But it says, former Homeland Security tactical team leader Doug Thornton warns about America's approaching civil war. Again, it ain't no thing on if it's gonna happen. No, they telling the people this gonna come.
God.
And when you go into civil war, it's a war between the citizens of the same country. So these people gonna eventually start fighting against each other, man. You was about to say something?
No,
Con. So I'll go ahead and play it. And in this video, you can see in his face he pissed off, man. Or in other words, he ain't playing. Now he gonna back up and say the same thing that the guy in his first video gonna say. But again, as a warning, he got an inside scoop from a cop. And what this cop will tell him, look, time's about to get bad like we never seen, which lined up with scriptures. And the main point is, he said, look, it's time to get ready for it, get our house ready. But let's start with this real quick. We'll hop into it.
Welcome to today's broadcast here on Brighteon.com. I'm Mike Adams, the founder of Brighteon. And we've got a first-time guest here, but someone who has been in the orbit of many of our other guests for many years. And this man is an extraordinary person who has quite a story to tell about what he has seen and what he's doing now. His name is Doug Thornton. He's known as Wrecker. And he used to work with Homeland Security. And now he focuses on being a podcaster and a part-time minister. But what he sees coming for America should concern us all. So welcome to the show, Doug. It's been a while since.
And that's the thing, you know, we used to hearing what's happening in the Middle East and China and the third world countries, so on and so forth. Well, now everybody talking about what's coming to America, man.
Since we've spoken a couple of years, actually, but it's great to have you back on. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Mike. I'm doing great. You know, it's a pivotal moment of time in Americans' history to be having this type of conversation. You know, in 1861, the first Civil War broke out, and many people saw that coming, but many people didn't know how to react to it. And now, once again, it seems that we're coming up on Civil War 2.0, as people like to say, and we all see it coming, and yet still people don't know how to react to it. And you know, the bad part about that, Mike, is that it gives the government the advantage to take full advantage of Americans who are sitting on their hands, not preparing for the inevitable downfall of the dollar, which is just one of the many cascading events. And I know we'll get into Civil War, but let me ask you this. How close do you think we are? Because I get asked it all the time, but I love to ask the question back. How close do you see it?
Well, I'm not sure about how passive the American people are. And since my expertise is health and food contamination and toxins, I do know that the American people have been neurologically poisoned through a variety of vectors that are inhibiting their ability to cognitively function and also to behaviorally respond to threats or stresses, even life and death threats. So whereas, you talk about the Civil War in America, the people.
And this is Mike Adams right here, so when you hear the Apostle Ramla mention him, this is who he's talking about.
At that time, were mentally healthier, physically more capable, and spiritually stronger at that time than they are now. I see the American people, by and large, although there are many exceptions, such as you and I and our audience, but by and large, they are passive, they are brainwashed, they are malnourished, but overfed. They are intoxicated through a variety of toxins, including deliberate toxins that are introduced into the food supply, hormonal toxins, gender bender chemicals. They are indoctrinated, they are psychologically beaten, and I'm not sure if they are capable of even grasping what's happening, even as they're on their dying, or even as they're being thrown into quarantine camps or shot, kneeling over a ditch by the establishment that sends out soldiers to exterminate them. I think for many people, they cannot respond. So I don't know. I mean, that's my honest answer. I don't know if there are enough people who can respond to what's happening or what that might look like.
Well, I consider myself to be an amateur historian. And looking back into history, there's a great book. I forget the author, but the name of the book is called Ordinary Men. And it doesn't take a while for someone to go back to the 1930s to start to look at the beginnings of the formation of the Nazi government. And there's
now, what he about to go into, and I might skip it, but what he about to go into, how is back in the day dealing with, Germany, how in order for them to get the people in order, they had to start with the cops first, and then go up as far as the National Guard. But that's what they started with, the cops, to throw the citizens into concentration camps. But the point he bringing this up is because he's saying, just like Germany, he expect things to come to America like that, even worse. And his point he making right here before we skip on is that certain of these cops in these certain departments across America, they already know the agenda. They know they need chaos, just as these politicians, they need more chaos to happen, right?
The main key factor that actually helped the Nazi government really catapult itself above other tyrannical groups, and that was the Schutzstaffel. What the SS did originally, and not many people are aware of this, you might be aware of this, but not many people are, but the Schutzstaffel, the SS, was actually a law enforcement branch. It was what you would consider federal law enforcement branch. The SS ended up taking over every aspect of intelligence gathering and law enforcement. And when they put everything underneath that one umbrella, they captured all elements of the government And as people began to resist, you had to deal with the SS. Of course, we've heard all the horror stories from the SA, the stormtroopers who originally were used to scare people and to kill people and bully people. It was on the night of the broken glass when the SS was used to help finish off the SA and their 80-something higher-ups. And so then they were no more. But once the SS took over military, you had to serve in the Order Police. The Order Police was the National Guard in ordinary parishes and sheriff's departments, your local police departments, if we're antiquating this to America, all thrown together. They took orders directly from the SS. And they were the ones who went into Poland. And this book, Ordinary Men, talks about it in gross detail, about one of the first times that the police were used to round people up. And there's a passage in this book, Mike, and I think the guy's a colonel or a lieutenant colonel, and they're heading to Poland. He tells his guys, I don't know exactly where we're going, but I'll tell you what we're going to do when we get there. They get to the place where they're going to, and he gets everyone out of the truck, and he said, listen, draws a line in the sand. We have to take everyone from their homes, and if they resist, we kill them, and we're moving them into train cars and trucks, and they're being pushed off to the
Sound like second Ezra's, what that is, 16 and around 70, how those troops gonna be sent out, grabbing people from their homes. Well, he's telling what happened in the past, what the scripture says, nothing is new under the sun. Well, these things are coming to America too. People will get taken out their homes by whether it be the police, those who down, because a lot of these everyday policemen ain't gonna be down to do that to their so-called own citizens, own people, right? But what he's bringing up is that the police will eventually become militarized.
To these ghettos, the concentration camps and ghettos. And this is the pivotal moment that I have been preaching about to my guys when I was in federal law enforcement and so on, is that those men were given a moral and ethical decision line in the sand. And they were given a choice. If you don't want to do this, cross the line. If you want to do this, stand here with me. Not one person crossed the line. They all chose to go through with the beginnings of the atrocities that eventually became the horrific concentration camps and death camps. We can parallel that to today's law enforcement. Now, I am not anti-law enforcement. I am very pro-law enforcement, but the right law enforcement. What we have now that has been established is a tyrannical form of injustice from the Department of Justice, and they use federal law enforcement and state and local law enforcement, whoever they can get to do their dirty work. And it has created a rift in the people. We see this with January 6th. Look at what just happened with the Governor Whitmer case. Those two guys were completely exonerated, and the FBI is completely to blame for it, but they will never catch what they should have.
Now I'm going to jump up a little bit, because now what he establishes that it's a big divide between the trust in a people and a police. I'm going to skip up.
Burn. I didn't know exactly how to talk about what I was seeing, because I heard that the politicians were telling them not to respond. And I had seen this in other cases, especially in Portland, when politicians didn't let us do our job. And Mike, I sat here and I asked myself.
And remember, he's a team leader of Homeland Security. Now, what he touched on is how the orders came from on top, how cops and Homeland Security, the government, politicians been holding them off. Like we brought out last week, the police in Seattle, they said, look, if you got an issue, don't call us. Don't call us. Well, look, those orders are coming from on top because this American government need chaos to break out. Why you think everybody just able to go steal in the stores? You had that event in Philadelphia. These things are orchestrated, man. They want people to break in stores. They want more stores to close. It's all for a reason, because they got the solution ready for you.
Myself. Where in my chain of command is the mayor? Where in my chain of command is this politician telling me to go and not do my job? But yet somehow or another, we just did what we were told. Now, I will say this in Operation in Portland, Diligent Valor 1 and 2 that we were involved in, we were at some points told to sit in a building, at the immigration building, that's on McAdams Street. That's where all the.
And I'm leading to a point, because he bringing all this up to where all this chaos is being allowed, and he gonna bring the point up is how long you gonna allow you think these citizens go allow the government to just push chaos in their country or in their city or in their state? Eventually, the people go revolt.
The battlegrounds happened at, and we had to sit and wait for Antifa to set the building on fire before we could go out and make arrests, effect arrests. We had to wait for the building to be set on fire. I was the tactical commander at that point in time, being told this is what you shall do. And we had to sit there with our iPhones and film there's smoke coming through the building, the doors on fire.
Unbelievable.
Oh, now we can go do our job. So eventually you have to ask yourself, how long are people going to continue to allow their cities to be burned? How long is it going to be until law enforcement says, listen, if the mayor tells us not to go and protect people, we're going to arrest the mayor because now the mayor is interfering with police operations. Who's going to have the guts to do that? It has to start with the sheriffs, with the police commanders.
And we know that ain't gonna happen because according to prophecy, these people go revolt, man. Let me get this real quick in Job 20, because I just thought of it. How these everyday working class citizens go get tired of struggling, man, go get tired of these different laws being pushed on them and different regulations they got to live by when they're already struggling. This is Job chapter 20 real quick. And it's going into the elite fulfilling their NWO. It says, in the fullness of his sufficiency shall he be in straits. And that's what we see. It's hard right now for these elites to get their plan off the ground. They've been exposed, right? People don't want to get down just as easy as they thought it was. And the thing is, it says, and every hand of the wicked shall come upon them. So at the time that Esau and these other leaders of the world, mainly Esau trying to get their NWO going, it says at this same time, the hand of the wicked shall come upon them. And when you go into the word wicked, it's the Hebrew word aimal, which is what? A workman, a laborer, your everyday working class citizens, man. These the ones who gonna revolt. You see, they ain't gonna just be put up with their government allowing stuff just to go on, especially, these American, the Trump supporters.
In these small towns, they have to recapture what we, the people, gave them the ability to do.
Well, this is
the history of America.
Let me, I'm gonna go to this other video.
But they took what you intended to be a good thing, and they turned it into an evil thing. I think 2020 was designed in 2016 because they knew this was going to happen. So 2024 was designed in 2020. And if we take that and we think about it, we're getting set up again. There's already intel going on that Antifa is going to start messing around again in October.
That's another thing we can add on to this list of what to expect or what we're looking forward to in October, right? What's one of them? They talking about a government shutdown. Wait, well, hey, what's the last day of September? The 30th. We got 2 more days. If they don't get it before October 1st, government shutdown, which means you will have police, as he was explaining in this video, they're going to be working without pay, military working without pay. They ain't going to go on for long. So that's one thing they expect. You got that October 4th emergency FEMA declaration, and they talking about it may be some 5G signals put in the air. That's one thing. But also they talking about sending Antifa back out to begin these false flags or fake riots, uproars of the people again. So, hey, October could be an action-packed month, man. Let's listen to them, though.
We're coming up to this huge debt bubble, and when it blows, your dollar may be worth nothing.
I wanted to talk about that next anyway.
Go ahead.
So it's very clear. I mean, we just passed $33 trillion in federal debt. And if you count the obligations that are owed to the people through pensions and Social Security and so on, it's like, $190 trillion. This is never going to be payable. Either by accident or by deliberate acts, the dollar debt system is going to fail. You know that very well, which means the banks are going to fail, which means people's savings are going to fail. Their pensions, okay, yeah, maybe you still get a pension check, but it can't buy a loaf of bread anymore when it used to pay rent, right? So when this happens, I'd like your assessment on what you think that's going to look like on the streets, because you've been on the streets. You've been in war zones in America, in Portland and other places. What are the cities going to look like when the dollar collapses and people lose their life savings?
Well, I mean, look at what the cities look like right now. I've always invited people who don't believe how bad the border is. I worked the border for quite a long time, and from El Paso to Eagle Pass is typically where I was at, and it's dangerous, man. It's super dangerous. You're in Texas.
Right. Look at across America now. It's dangerous. Right? They letting stuff go in Illinois. It's not kidnappings and all that. They letting it go with a slap on the wrist. So, and look, people ain't got they benefits taken away yet. People ain't, just out struggling like they will yet. So what you think that's gonna do? And one thing he gonna mention is that the light's gonna go off. We've been talking about that too.
It's dangerous. Chicago's dangerous. New York's dangerous. Atlanta's dangerous. LA's a war zone. New Mexico, Albuquerrque has become nothing more than a clown show. Wait till the lights go out, man, because you can't pay for anything. Yeah, Rhodesia reminds me a lot of that. Wait till the economy collapses and cops don't get paid to go out and protect anybody. You think they're going to show up?
Nope.
You think firefighters would you go show up for free?
And again, if that government shutdown happened, these police officers go be working. Some of them, because a lot of them go get furloughed, but some of them go have to work without pay. And what he just said, you think they're going to work without pay? No. Right? And look, even while they getting paid, they already don't want to help these citizens. So you think they're going to help without getting paid, man?
Right.
And this man was a part of that. He telling you no. He going to say, look, the only thing we're going to do is we may stick around for 3 or 4 days just to get intel and we out.
Hey, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
He was mentioning about how the lights go out.
Mm-hmm. Hold on. You got it.
Yeah, he was mentioning about, the lights going out in the streets, man. That's going to be instant hell, man. Do you know how weak these American people are? As Mike Adams is speaking about in the video, how docile these people are, man. Eating all these, processed foods over the years, having this damn cell phone in your face all day, playing the game, this terrible music. These people are all jacked up, man, full of Coca-Cola, McDonald's, okay? When there's no access to these things anymore, these people, these so-called civilized people, man, as the Joker said in Batman, he said they're going to lose pretty much their minds. These people want to eat at each other, man. You watch and see, bro. Second age of 15 and 16 is going to manifest like never before, man. Jacob's trouble. As the brother got there in the title, bro, it's going to get nasty, bro. And this is what we tell you, brothers and sisters out there, to stay focused, stay locked in. Yes, we have our ups and downs, things that we go through, but don't lose sight of the battle, man, of the focus. It's going to go down very soon, man. Election year is coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, they are preparing something, bro. Okay, the elder was talking about it in the chat this morning, man. Most High about to do something very, very big, very, very drastic, life-changing in the earth, man. Especially here in Babylon the Great. So lock in, man. We all gotta lock in, bro. Because this shit finna get scary, bro. Like, brothers got children and families, bro. So it behooves all of us to stay on point, man, and pray for the Most High's mercy, bro, because shit, hey, man, oh my goodness, bro. Go ahead, Doc.
Mm-hmm. That's when the next dude is going to talk about, because he got inside information from a cop, right? And tell him, look, bro, you better get your family ready because it's about to go down. Like, since they ain't saying nothing else, they ain't saying, well, we might can get out. And no, he's saying it's going down. I'm going to play just a little more.
Got it mute out.
Oh, shit, hold on.
It is muted.
Clown show. Wait till the lights go out, man, because you can't pay for anything. Yeah, Rhodesia reminds me a lot of that. Wait till the economy collapses and cops don't get paid to go out and protect anybody. You think they're going to show up?
Nope.
You think firefighters would you go show up for free?
Nope. You would stay home and protect your family. That's what every sane cop is going to do.
Hey, we've talked about it. We've talked about these things. Yeah, we'll show up for probably 3 or 4 days, try and gather some intel, try and figure out what's going on. And if it doesn't get better, why am I showing up?
Exactly.
And There's a hard conversation that Americans don't want to have. We live in like this bubble of safety and security that's really non-existent because you are your own.
Right, right. Americans think they A-OK. Man, wait till the Lord show his other side to you.
First responder. I'm the second responder. The firefighter's the third responder. And if you don't think like that, you're going to be caught in a very bad place. Now, when there is no responder and it's just you, this is where it takes time to create these delicate relationships between the people and law enforcement, your local law enforcement, your sheriff, your police captains from your police departments. They have to have trust in you. You have to have trust in them that if everything goes down, the system is still there to support one another. Maybe not in the state, maybe not in the county, but the towns can still be there to support one another. Now, there'll be many people who will disagree with that, but you go ahead and go single. Go ahead and go gray man. Go solo. See how long that works for you. Eventually, you got to have water, you got to have food, you got to have gas, you want your electricity turned back.
You see, that's what I love about hearing videos like this with these Edomites, those survival Edomites, because what he going to, and I'm about to go to the next vid, but what he going into is how you going to have to get you a militia, create you a little, a dream team. In the movies, like what that is, The Walking Dead, how you had Negan, he had his group, Book of Eli, that white man Edomite, he had his group. But this is the thing, ain't no group, it don't matter who you got, how many people you got, and when the judgment of the Lord is out, everybody getting tagged, man. That's the time we're in. Only, just like that king told that woman in 2 Kings 6, I believe. He said, woman, if the Most High don't help you, how you expect us to help you or anybody else to help? These are times we coming into what, let me get 2 Ezra 15, and it's a good watch. You go watch some more because it was going into how, these immigrants coming that got something to do with it. And also how Russia and China eventually go turn the lights off. But this would all let's go lead to, and I'm gonna go to the next vid because he got a little more info. Real quick, this 2 Ezra 15 and 14. It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. Jacob's trouble is close. It's close, man. It says, and again, it ain't like, man, I keep saying this because it ain't like we need stuff to get built up. Everything is all the MOTB system that's set, missiles set, Esau ready to come in like a flood set. The chaos is already created. We just wait on the day that is actually going to happen. It's the point. And again, say it might happen tomorrow. Remember, they always talked about it being Friday when the economy, the dollar's going to collapse or the lights might go off on a Friday. You see? But it ain't no promise. We might bounce back next week with updates. Next Thursday, it can happen between then is the point at any time, man. Right now is the time to get ready. Speaking to myself first and foremost, 2 Ezra 15 and 15. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, civil war, like he said, uprising against the government. There shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. These people gonna have their way against the so-called authorities, the police, just like they said in the video. The police ain't gonna be there to police shit no more. They go home and try to save them and their family lives. So the citizens eventually go better do what they want, man. And that's why more troops gonna have to get called in, the blue hats, mercenaries. And at this time it says, and a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Checkpoints, right? MOTB stations. Let me get the GNT version just to show you what all these things gonna be driven by. What's gonna cause terrible suffering? What's gonna cause people to run in their neighbor's house and take their food? Well, as they saying, because people about to struggle, it's about to be more lawlessness go up. Real quick, I'm gonna read 17 again, but it's the GNT version. I'm gonna get this next video and that's it. This 2 Ezra 15 and 17 in the GNT. It says there will no longer be free access to the cities because the struggle for power will bring, it says the struggle for power will bring destruction, terror, and total confusion wherever people live, driven by, so destruction and terror and total confusion is going to be driven by what? What's going to cause it? It says driven by famine and terrible suffering. That's the time we in. People about to suffer, man, and that's gonna cause them. Like Gerald Salente said, when people have nothing else to lose, they're gonna lose it. And what's that it? That's their mind. They're gonna lose it. And as he said, that's when all the gloves gonna come off and it's gonna be survival of the fittest. But it says these things will be driven by famine and terrible sufferings, and people will assault their neighbors and mercilessly plunder their possessions. Right? So again, ain't gonna be no help from if you ain't got the Lord. Now I'm gonna play this video of him real quick. Now what he going into, again, like I said, he got some insider information from a cop, and what he's saying is that ain't nothing else coming like what's about to happen, or should I say, ain't nothing else ever happened like what's about to happen. Is that not in the scriptures? A time like never before, Jacob's trouble.
Right, brother.
Now you got it out.
This the book of Isaiah. Yeah.
Hold on, let me take it.
Come.
You got it.
Yeah, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 47 in the NLT Bible, in verse 11. It says, "But disaster will come upon you." Now, this is talking about the daughter of Babylon, which is America today. Okay, Babylon the Great. And this is the Most High speaking unto this kingdom, man. Through the prophets, it says, "But disaster will come upon you. You will not know how to charm it away. A calamity will befall you that you will be unable to ward off. Devastation will happen to you suddenly and unexpectedly." This is what's coming to Babylon, man. These things are going to be unexpected unto the vast majority of the people. But see, the Most High, he's going to just, truly open up on this kingdom, man, and really show you people why he's known as Al-Sharia, okay? God Almighty, okay? This terrible demon-like power. He's going to get busy in the earth, man. All these things are not just written, brothers and sisters, for nothing. They're going to come to pass, man. Hyperinflation, that great famine, okay? That's coming down the pipe, man. Violence increasing in the earth. Murder increasing in the earth, man. It's going to get real. So once again, hey, look, man, it behooves all of us to lock in spiritually, man. To get it together, bro. Make sure you're praying, okay? Make sure you're praying. Prayer is big in this thing of ours, man. Because the Heavenly Father finna open up, bro. Go ahead, Doc. You go ahead and unmute everything, but I think you got everything muted. Yeah.
Con. Well, what I'm gonna go ahead and play in this video is he was going into this information he received from a cop, and the cop was pretty much telling him, "Look, man, everybody in the force, we getting our family ready because something like never happened is about to happen." You see? So the matter of fact, before I get that, the best thing we can do is prepare ourselves for it, since we was already told ahead of time. Real quick, 2 Ezra 16:35 in the GNT. It says, "Now listen to my message, you people who serve the Lord. It is the Lord's message, so receive it and believe what he says." So before this destruction come, the Lord telling us to get this truth. So Isaiah 33:6 can keep us stable. All the scriptures can keep us stable. That's just that verse. But it goes on to say, verse 37, "The disasters are approaching rapidly." They coming quick, and it's multiple of them. Remember, we still ain't out of 2023 yet. And Klaus Schwab said that 2023 is the year of the poly crisis. That's more than one crisis happening. We still ain't out of here yet, man. And then we coming into October. That's the year, little Halloween or month. But it says the disasters are approaching rapidly and they will not be delayed. A woman in the 9th month of her pregnancy may suffer labor pains for several hours. But when the time comes for the baby to be born, there is no longer any delay. And that's where we are right now in prophecy. Is no longer no delay. What we waiting on? Everything is ready. The Lord got everything ready. It says, in the same way, the disasters that are coming on the earth will not be delayed, and the world will groan when it is caught in its labor pains. That's the point I wanted. Verse 40. So listen to my message, my people. So before the battle come, we got to get in this word and get more acquainted with the Lord. It says, listen to my message, my people, and get ready for the battle. Because that's this man's main message. And look at his face. He ain't playing. He ain't playing. He's scared. They scared. You know, it's going to be a fearful time. But again, we got to be confident in these things because the Lord promised us if we do this work, we're going to be spared. So it says, listen to my message, my people, and get ready for the battle. And when the disasters come, you must live as people whose home is not in this world, man. You know, so let's go ahead and play this vid. Now I make points throughout.
I'm a little bit more dressed up than usual. Kelly and I just got back from
a severe warning. Inside, that's the title. Insider cop says it's time to get shelter.
I'm a little bit more dressed up than usual. Kelly and I just got back from a contact in law enforcement, and we were discussing what they believe the next stage of this social and environmental crisis is going to be in the United States of America. Let me tell you, let me give you a breaking warning. Every cop out there knows what time it is. No, none of them are dumb to the fact that we are facing a social breakdown. All of the cohesiveness that has kept our country together and countries of the Western world are about to be ripped apart at the threads. They know it. We know it. And now we're just waiting for the catalyst that sends us into that direction.
That's it. We ready. We waiting, man.
They're getting ready in their own homes. And that's a little bit what we talked about, what they are doing personally versus what the department is doing and what they expect our local area to do. Inside their own homes, they are telling their wives to get ready. They are telling their mothers and fathers to get ready. And they are telling their children to get ready.
And you know, it's crazy too. I don't know if I said this on the live show last Thursday or if I said that on that Monday lesson I did with them brothers in Dallas. But I was talking to my pops and my mama the other day, you know, and I was just, you know, it was on my spirit to kind of tell them, you know, because, you know, our parents at times, they may trust in the things of this system, you know, Social Security, money and a pension and, you know, different things that's coming. But it was just on my spirit to kind of warn them like, hey, man, look, a lot of people about to lay it down soon. Like, you know, that money and all that. That's about to go out the door. Savings, all that's about to go out the door. So this was like early on in this week. But the point is, it was on my spirit to warn my parents about it, man. This is the time we coming in. I already been telling, you know, my woman about it. But more so the ones who within this circle, us in this truth, we need to make sure each other, mainly ourselves first and foremost, because the scripture says work out our own salvation. But we need to be prepared. I'm telling you, at any time, man. Even if we wake up in the morning, something could happen then. Come on, man.
We talked about sending their kids off to the range with them. We talked about spending time at the range with their family members. Guys, we live in a very self-defense tool-heavy environment. There are going to be so many lead shots around the country, so much brass smacking the ground in the United States of America when this finally pops off, that it's going to look like a war has ravaged this country for the last, 2-3 years. You will literally see the gutters of your streets littered with brass and blood stains.
You're talking about bullet shots going off.
That's
people killing everybody. We read it in 2nd Ezra 15, man. Rewind it a little bit.
For the last, 2-3 years. You will literally see the gutters of your streets littered with brass and blood stains. That's what they're concerned about. So every cop that we are talking to is getting into a sort of like mini riot control mentality. They are prepared for those larger events to take place, and they're telling us to get ready. We need to take these warnings to heart because we see this coming down the pipeline. A large percentage of our population believes that we are at the point of civil war. An even larger percentage of our population believes that this empire, the United States dollar, and its ruling capabilities around our planet are at an end. And we are starting to see China, Russia, and other countries bolster change. And this change is going to react negatively for our future. So these cops are getting ready. And what we talked about was a little bit of training that we could do together in our local area. And that's what building a local operating force is about. It doesn't have
Talking about getting you a militia team together too. See, Esau think this the way to go, man. The only way you go escape if it's the Lord on your side. I'm keep saying that.
to be only police officers. It doesn't have to be only SWAT guys. It doesn't have to be only military, not only EMTs, not only doctors, not only electricians, not only plumbers. You need to have a little bit of every trade skill, and especially the ones that will be most necessary at the beginning of the breakdown, that is going to help you and your family have the best chance of survival. When I tell you that they expect things to get bad, I'm not even telling you how bad they are explaining them to me. They're talking about the current escalation of violence. They're telling me story by story, without giving away case information, about what they are seeing right now versus what they have seen in their decade on the force. And what they're seeing today is worse than I would ever want to tell you here, because YouTube would say you can't even talk about things that are that bad on the platform. And so instead,
You hear that? Let me get a quick pre-sub, because the things he been hearing that's about to happen, he said it's things that he can't even talk about on the YouTube. That sounds like when Yahushua and different other prophets describe Jacob's trouble. Real quick, this is Mark 13. I'm gonna go back. Mark 13 and 19. It's Yahushua speaking. It says, "For the trouble of those days will be far worse than any the world has ever known, from the very beginning, when the Most High created the world, until the present time." Jacob's trouble, man. When Esau loses SHIT, when that seal be implemented, right? All hell break loose, so on and so forth, which is going to lead to those missiles. It says, "For the trouble of those days will be far worse than any the world has ever known, from the beginning, when the Most High created the world, until the present time." Include every travesty, that ever happened in the world, and put them together. Is still on the amount up to what we about to come. And remember, in movies, the most action-packed scene be at the end. We at the end. You see, and it says, "Nor will there ever be anything like it again. But the Lord has reduced the number of those days. If he had not, nobody will survive." Come on, man. "But for the sake of his chosen people, however, he has reduced those days." So what this man said on what they're describing, the time is going to be, that line right up with the scriptures.
About things that are that bad on the platform. And so I ever want to tell you here, because YouTube are seeing right now versus what they have seen in their decade on the force. And what they're seeing today is worse than I would ever want to tell you here, because YouTube would say you can't even talk about things that are that bad on the platform. And so instead, we just have to understand that what's being seen in law enforcement, what's being seen in the military, because you remember on yesterday's video, we talked about how the U.S. military is telling their people to get their families ready. Everybody else knows what time it is. Everybody else knows how ready they should have been. Now, when I asked, what should I tell people to get ready at home, they started off with, of course, because they're in law enforcement, your ability to hold on to your life. They said, if you can't hold your life for 3 days, what does water matter? And that's absolutely true. If you can't keep your family safe for a 3-day period, what does everybody dying from thirst after 3 days really matter? And so how do you do that? Well, we talked about things like current surveillance cameras. We talked about some of the pitfalls of local environmental factors. And then we talked about weapons. Now, he said that you have to take into consideration every person going into this conflict. If they're not armed before, they're going to watch people be destroyed, and they're going to arm up. And then they're going to be the people who are shooting blindly into the night. And they expect apartment complexes to be razed. They expect entire city areas to be basically torn to the ground, burned to the ground. Now, what he said you wouldn't expect is that the urban areas are expected to be some of the most well-protected and untouched areas. Why?
He said, well, in other words, where niggas at, Because look, he said other areas, apartment complexes, so on and so forth, they're gonna be here first. Why? Because everybody, Jake gonna know that's where they got food at. Look, they got a generator, so on and so forth. And he gonna explain why ain't nobody going to where the niggas at, because these niggas used to these conditions.
Let me tell you why.
You gotta take a drink or shit.
In the urban areas, places where they have had to deal with violence, law enforcement issues, other enforcement issues, the government getting into their daily business. They've had to deal with corner drug dealers. They've had to deal with watching people's lives fall apart. Those areas and the people who live there are used to it. And so it's not going to be this great shock. Those people aren't going to be shooting blindly into the night. They're going to be putting well-placed rounds down the range. They know because they've already done it. They know because that's the life they live today. Now, that was a surprise to me because I said, well, you would think maybe those environments would be the worst. And he backed up some other information we have seen to say, no, this is going to be the place to be. Now, what I'm not telling you, of course, is at the
listen to what Esau's saying, though, because he's saying, look, why people ain't go run in the hood? Because the hood already don't got nothing, and Jake know their area. Jake, just, the Israelites go try to defend their stuff. But the point is, nobody gonna be going to the hood because they don't have nothing there anyway. Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans go be going to their neighborhoods. That's what he really getting at. That's what he getting at. He gonna describe, the people who got the flag on the back of their truck. Don't tread on me. Well, he got guns. Right, you hear that generator, you can see the lights on in their house. Well, we going over that first. You got a person on my street, a couple houses down. Now, mind you, when they got their garage up, their whole garage wall, so much so you can't even see the wall. It's filled with cases of water. And when I just go jogging and shit, and I see their garage up, my first thought, when all hell break loose, everybody come and get some water from your shit. So everybody can see it. The point is, he going into what people doing now. Guess what? When all hell break loose, your neighbors gonna be remembering what they seen that you had. Your house gonna be going in first.
Quickest spark, excuse me, of social unrest.
So even now, when we get them groceries, they take them straight in. Ain't no water need to be sitting out because people looking. Remember, Alex Jones already said he ready to go eat his neighbors last year or something, 2 years ago, Alex Jones said he ready to eat his neighbors just to feed his daughters if times get hard.
Right.
To run to your urban areas. That's a good way to get harmed. That's a good way to be targeted. The quickest spark, excuse me, of social unrest, to run to your urban areas. That's a good way to get harmed. That's a good way to be targeted. You don't want to look out of place.
Right.
What you need is a place of your own. Now, if you're already in an urban area, you fit in there, don't change a thing. Don't think you need to run to some white picket fence, behind gates environment. Who gets attacked in a fight against the haves and the have-nots? The haves never come at the have-nots. They don't go to their home because they already have that. What do they want from that home? The have-nots go to the homes of the haves.
Mm-hmm.
You want
the scripture saying how Israel, will be over these heathens. Paraphrasing, I believe, like dew on the ground.
House.
Two men. See, the Lord be doing certain things because gentrification, especially out here in Houston, they knocking down little shotgun houses and apartment complexes and putting townhouses right on side a trap house. Well, look, you just being put closer, so when all hell break loose, you right there where the Israelites at, man.
To look like worse than your neighbor's house. Maybe it's abandoned. Maybe no one lives there. Maybe you have some indications that it's dark and foreboding. And so when your house looks like it's not welcome, make it not welcome to people who want to come do you harm. Now, what I don't suggest is people putting, signs out front that say, looters will be whatever, or, anything like that. I want surprise. You want surprise when anybody is coming at you. If they know what to expect, they're going to formulate a plan before they get there. And when you give your enemy time to build that plan, you have just knocked down your chance of survival. Instead, you can do other things to make your house foreboding, make it not look like it's a welcome environment to looters, to people bringing chaos or violence to it. That means that in your house, you want no light peering from the outside. You do want cameras up. They don't know whether someone's inside.
He just running off on stuff. I'm gonna get this real quick. I'm gonna put it in the chat so y'all can watch it. But the main thing he was going into is, look, it's time to be prepared, man. Let me play a little more.
And I know Joe has weapons in his.
None of that's gonna help nobody. The only way you're gonna get help is if Yahweh Shai is on your side, man. As it's saying, 2 Ezra 13, 20, 21, and 22 in the GNT, that the one who bringing the destruction, he gonna be the same one who gonna save from the destruction those who have stored up good works and faith with him, man.
In his house, because the back of his Jeep says that he's, an advocate of different rights. And, instead of having children, little stick figure children, he's got different rifles up there on the back of his Jeep. He's got a camo duck in the front of it, and he is ready for battle. The problem is they know Joe sleeps. Maybe Joe sleeps alone. Maybe Susie doesn't stay home at night. What they know is that's a target that, sure, he might have a weapon, but Joe has other weapons, most likely. Joe has a generator that they're going, and let me be inclusive, they're going to bring more guys and girls with guns. They're going to bring more people of guns, and they're going to roll Joe's house. Now, if
he going into 2 Ezra 15, men go invade one another because they suffering. so look, they reporting on prophecy. I would say they're reporting on the news, but they giving updates on prophecy, man.
You live next to Joe, and your house is dark on the outside, but they see the infrared lights of your cameras. It's Joe's house. Living like you're going into a riot. That's what these guys are doing. They're training. While we are watching football, they're training. While we are thinking about where to go out to eat, they're thinking about how much protein they need to pack in to build back the muscle they just broke down. So when the other guys are preparing for war and we're preparing to be slaughtered or taken to the slaughterhouse, who wins that war? These are the questions we need to start asking. So they said, prepare your home, prepare self-defense, and then prepare to repair your home, prepare to re-engage your self-defense. A lot of people might have a 6-shooter, no speed clips, no ability for going to quickly repair it. These are the things we have to consider. Start today. There isn't much time left, according to the people we're talking to. And I hope we make even more contacts, because what comes next is scary. What are you seeing in your area?
Jacob's trouble coming next, man. And he said the people that's telling them are the people who in the circle who know these things, and they said it ain't no time left. 2 Ezra 14 and verse 12. And Ezra right here was given the history of the world, and he was told way back then he was at the end. So we got to be at the end. So seeing we're at the end of the world, I'm going to read verse 12. 2 Ezra 14 and 12 in the GNT. And it is half over, only 2.5 parts remain. And Ezra was told this like 400 years before Yahweh Shai. So we got to be at the last part of world history. So seeing we are, verse 13. So set your house in order. Everything the man was just saying. Set your house in order. And that house is us as an individual, first and foremost. And then if we have a wife, children, I'll be keeping my parents up on a loop, although, they don't fully believe, but they understand we Israelites. I still be one of them too. But it says, so set your house in order and warn your people, comfort those who are humble, and teach those who are wise. So the main message do go to the believers. And it says, and then say goodbye to this mortal life. Put earthly cares away from you, right? The things that these people worried about, job, cars, material things. We know this economy about to crash anyway. We understand the life's about to go off. This day-to-day life we live in ain't gonna be forever. So right now it's time to put away those things. Look what happened to Lot's wife where she didn't fully put them away. She looked back and that caused her salvation, man. She still had care for the things inside of Gomorrah. So it says, put earthly cares away from you and throw down your human burdens, the things that matter in this life, and lay aside your weak human nature. Put all your anxieties aside and get ready to leave this world quickly. And here it is. It says, and you have seen many evil things already, but 4 worse things are about to happen. That's the time we in, man. Ecclesiastes says the time and season for everything. We're in a time of war, man, much bloodshed, so on and so forth. And it can happen at any moment. Tomorrow morning ain't promised to be a regular day. Who knows what tomorrow and the next day's got? Like Yahweh Shai said, it is enough evil in itself. It says, and as the world grows older and weaker, the evils that will come upon its people will multiply, man. So that's, just what them two men just said. And they pretty much backed up each other. Look, from the inside scoop that they got, the only message is all hell about to break loose. That's the only message and nothing else. So it's time to prepare, man. But that's pretty much it. You can take us out. I ain't got nothing else, bro. I ain't know if you got something.
Yeah, man. Just prepare your minds. All we can do is put our hope in Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, man. Okay. If you're playing around with this thing, if you fully don't believe, man, you better repent and pray. And make sure that you are in line with these scriptures, man. Because in the Holy Bible, okay, the Most High God, He promised protection, food, water, clothing for His elect, man. And He's going to do it, okay? Because somebody has to be here for Yahweh Shai to save. So brothers and sisters got to eat, man, okay? And for you women out there, if I were you, okay, I'll be trying to find the nearest camp near me and see how I can help them brothers out. Real talk. I will be presenting myself like, hey, look, what do you need me to do? Just to show your works. That's what I would do. I'll be trying to help my ass off to show the Lord, hey, look, I'm really about this thing. I ain't just cheerleading. I'm like I really believe. I'm helping out your prophets to receive a prophet's reward. But some of y'all might don't believe that, I guess you think, when all hell break loose, brothers gonna fall into your lap. It ain't gonna work like that. We ain't come looking for you. And not saying, that you come in, to brother looking for you, to give it to you or whatnot. But no, man, find the camp that's nearest to you and try to help them brothers out, man. With something, okay? Oh, brother, look, I'll pull up Romans real quick, brother, because I went into this before in a lesson. Go to Romans 16. Get it in the this echo.
Oh, hold on, let me all right, what you say?
Yeah, get inside the blue letter.
Con.
Watch this right here. Yeah, so Romans 16:1, right? It says, brothers, yeah, there we go. It says, Romans 16:1, it says, I commend unto you Phoebe, our sister, which is a servant of the church which is at Cenchrea, that ye receive her in the Lord as becometh saints, and that ye assist her in whatsoever business she had need of you, for she had been a succour of many, and of myself also. So this sister here, Phoebe, she was helping out brothers, man. She was a succour of many. Now, brother, get that word of succour there. Watch this. Let Esau pronounce it there.
Prostatis. Prostatis.
Con. Definition says what it says: a woman set over others. It says a female guardian, protectress, a patroness, caring for the affairs of others and aiding them with her resources. So what people was doing, she was giving her resources to Paul and them, to the brothers, helping them out, man. Not just being a damn cheerleader, but she was actually helping. getting involved, man. How can you get involved today? Well, you can pay tithes, make garments. There's a lot of things that you can do, but some of y'all just, I don't know, man. But if I were you, if I said that I truly believe in this thing, I'm trying to find the nearest camp near me to see how can I help out. What do I need to do? That's what I would do to show you how about I would shot my faith. Because I wouldn't want to be out here butt naked, man. I would not want to be out here butt naked, okay? I want to be covered by the Lord. So there's things that we have to do, and guess what? The thing that you women have to do also. And that's just the truth, man. You know, if you got a man, you know, scriptures say to obey your husband, you know, whatnot, whether he's a believer or an unbeliever, you know. If he be pleased to, you know, stay with you as it says in the scriptures, then cool. But if I were you, I would definitely put forth that effort, man, because we're in those times, you know. But hey, your effort is your effort. Your faith is your faith. Okay, I'm not, you know, going to sleep stressing about whether or not you believe or, you know, you're doing what you need to be doing, because I got to cover my own shit. And that's just the truth, bro. Go ahead, Doc.
That's it. That's it. I'll take us out. And with that, you know, Lord willing, as we pray every lesson is that it be edifying, you know, because again, man, everything we talk about, it will be needed in these days to come, you know. Stay updated on the news, because who knows when the light's going to go off, what's going to happen. At least you knew a little something before it did. That's better than not knowing nothing at all, you know. But hey, we'll, you know, keep it right there, you know, until next time, Lord willing. But with that, we want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to all you Wakim out there who pushing his word with all truth and sincerity, and as well as all you believers out there who believe in the gospel. Hey, keep fighting, keep pushing, and we're almost out of here. And with that, shalom.
Shalom.